Soaring Mobile Debt. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article that was shared to me by a viewer. Phone and internet customers reveal debt troubles with their telco companies during the pandemic. Now, back in the day, and this is going to be story time, I'm going to show another story showing my age. I got one of those 3 mobiles. Remember those mobile phones when they first came out? You could make video calls, you could actually record video on them. And I needed 2 batteries just to get through 6 hours of the day. So as a student, I got one of these things when I was at university. Probably a stupid investment. Well, it wasn't really an investment. It was a stupid consumer purchase, let's be honest. Because there was no one I knew that had a video phone that I could call on it. I think it was good I could play music on it and that type of thing and take a few videos, but yeah, it really wasn't worth it. After that, I got sick of having mobiles. Actually, I got sick of paying these fees, paying bills, all these monthly costs, and I ended up abandoning it altogether. I told my friends, just contact me on Gmail, just send me a chat message, easy. So I didn't speak to some friends for a while. It's just how it happens sometimes. But I actually quite enjoyed it. I'm back now. I just have a $15 Aldi plan because I need it for work. Unlimited phone calls. I got a bit of data, and it's kind of enough, honestly. It really is. But I can understand how people can rack up huge bills on these things, particularly when, what if it could be the gaming on these things as well? And it's they get their claws into you. So let's have a look at this. Phone and internet customers say that they are being disconnected, harassed by debt collectors, and generally treated harshly by their telco providers when they need help, negatively impacting mental health. The Consumer Action Law Center has released a report detailing stories of people struggling to pay their phone and internet bills, with some fearing homelessness due to losing their job during the pandemic. Well, I'm going to do another video where we've got an impending rent debt tsunami that's about to hit. That's the next big fiscal, well, I wouldn't call it a fiscal, but the next cliff that we have to be aware of. Despite a federal moratorium on evictions, and banks allowing mortgage repayments to be deferred during the pandemic, and businesses being able to trade while insolvent, and JobKeeper propping up businesses that maybe shouldn't be running, or JobKeeper going to people who don't need it, JobSeeker propped up, and all, banks agreeing not to repossess houses until the 31st. Economy's perfect, guys. It's going perfect. Fantastic. Debt collectors have continued to contact telco customers demanding repayments. James was one of those customers. The 23-year-old lives in Melbourne and identifies as Aboriginal. I don't know why that's important, I guess. Okay, cool. Wait a minute. Of course, it's the ABC. They have to identify you. Maybe they need to tick so many boxes. He's studying for a Cert 3 and receives JobSeeker and the monthly allowance for his disability. He was contacted by debt collectors for multiple debts, including a buy now, pay later purchase, a payday loan, a consumer lease, and a Telstra debt for nearly $3,000 from 3 years ago when he entered into a 24-month contract for a Samsung Galaxy S8. The poor bloke, he's racking it all up, mate. Yeah. Oh, damn. See, this is where we need financial literacy. People need to be taught how to manage a budget, how to balance a budget. Maybe his parents haven't taught him, and I bet obviously they haven't, because look at the mess he's gotten into. Now, we're all young, we're all stupid. Every one of you in the comments, I guarantee you've done something similar to him back in the day. Don't tell me you haven't wasted money on something. But, hopefully it hasn't got to the point where this is happening, where they're knocking on the doors. And this can be a trap, just a trap of perpetual poverty and going from one thing to the other. This makes me sad. This is a failure of our education system more than anything, I would say. In his 20s. And it's so easy to get, sign up for this crap. Hopefully this will be the wake-up moment. He'll just go, to hell with this, and get out of it. Never do it again. Never get into debt. Do what I do. Take a 2-year holiday off these things. Probably a bit harder now, because we're in the future. The salesperson conducted a credit check and knew James was on Centrelink. Yeah, they like that because it's guaranteed payment. The monthly cost was $80, which James believed was affordable. $80 it's a decent amount of money. I mean, it's less than I'm paying for my internet. We get, I'm what, $90 a month? It shows you. But then again, that was only 3 years ago. $80 is a lot for a mobile phone. 2 months later, he lost the phone and his insurance claim was denied. Oh, you're kidding. James was told he had to pay out the contract, so he complained to the telecommunications industry ombudsman, but it was denied due to the SIM card still being active in another phone and the account remaining active with a usable number. The $3,000 Telstra debt is now on James's credit file as a default, and he says he's been harassed by debt collectors. What he needs to do is he needs to try and negotiate with them. He needs to try and say, okay, I can't pay you $3,000. I'm not going to. I'll make a counter offer. I'll give you $300 right now. You've got to find ways to do it. It's kind of scary because it's affecting my credit history and it's putting me back. I've received my credit file and there actually is a default on my credit file that makes me annoyed because I did have insurance with the phone and it should have been covered, he said. James said the debt collectors ramped up their calls to him during the pandemic. They just want payment. They said I could go on a payment plan, but I don't feel comfortable for something I had insurance for. He said there were some Telstra customer service representatives who wanted to help him. They said I should get a phone replacement, but that people higher up kept saying no, James said. On Thursday, Telstra admitted to unconscionable conduct during its sales of mobile phones to Indigenous customers. After an 18-month investigation by the ACCC, Telstra admitted it breached Australian consumer law and could face a penalty of up to $50 million. So, I know there was the whole thing with insurance people. Weren't they selling like funeral insurance to Aboriginal people in the middle of nowhere? And they were ringing up trying to claim it when they were still alive. They didn't realise what they'd actually signed up for. Is that what this is? I mean, he's in Melbourne, in a city, and he signed up for an $80 mobile plan. I don't see how that has to do with the fact that he's Aboriginal. I mean, all of us get done with these stupid things. Maybe it should be more a sign that the education system, particularly in the remote areas, isn't addressing it. Well, it isn't addressing it anywhere, is it? Financial literacy just... Did we do one subject at high school or at primary school? Was there anything? Maybe if you did a special subject. You think it would be in mathematics, wouldn't you? They'd put it in there for budgeting. In a statement, Telstra Chief Executive Andrew Penn apologised for the failings and the impact they had on people. I have spoken often about doing business responsibly, including about these failings since earlier this year. I'm determined we have a leadership position and hold ourselves accountable in this regard, he said. Despite Mr. Penn saying the unconscionable conduct occurred between 16 and 18, some Telstra customers say they are still being failed by the telco. Katie is an Aboriginal grandmother living in Echuca? Did I get that right? Let me know, Victorians. I should know that. I was born in Victoria. In Victoria, don't hold it against me, Queenslanders, who said she was pressured by Telstra representatives into putting her daughter-in-law's mobile number and internet bundle into her own name. Her daughter-in-law had no formal ID and a poor credit history, but wanted to buy the bundle for her daughter, Katie's granddaughter. Oh, this is just sounding messy. Her daughter-in-law has since been incarcerated, and Katie is having to pay for the monthly bill which she cannot afford on top of looking after her grandchildren. Speaking with Telstra's hardship team provided futile, she said, after she was told there were no suitable hardship options available for her. Katie has since complained to the telecommunications industry ombudsman and is talking with lawyers from the Consumer Action Law Centre, fearing homelessness because of an unaffordable phone bill. I mean, this is a thing, guys. These days, you need a phone. You need a phone just to interact. It makes it so much easier interacting in the world with different departments, doing your banking. I mean, cashless is becoming more and more, everyone. I know the cash ban has been shelved, but still, how many businesses are refusing to use cash? So, Olka is a pregnant woman from Melbourne who says she's been hung up on multiple times by a telco company. She's been experiencing poor mental health and is living on youth allowance and the job seeker supplement. Last year, she signed a 36-month contract with a major telco provider for a mobile phone plan costing about $115 a month. This is the thing. This is just consumer debt. They're suckering you into these long-term plans. I remember I had a roommate. Every time their phone expired, their contract, they paid out one phone, they borrowed another, more money to get another phone. People don't realize they're borrowing money to buy these phones when you can get them secondhand, or you buy them outright. You can get them cheap. So they constantly do it. $115 a month for a phone. You could get away with $15 a month for all the calls you need and the data you need. If you need, there's plenty of places now to get free internet if you need it. Oh, it's sad. She said she signed up on the plan. Olka was working full time. When the pandemic hit and Olka couldn't make her monthly payments, her provider restricted her service and blocked her from making outbound calls. When she told customer service representatives that she was out of work, pregnant, and needed to be able to call her doctor, she was told she would need to pay almost $1,000 in debt to fully remove the restrictions on her phone. Well, that's when you go to the op shop and you buy a $30 crap phone and you go get a $15 SIM card, or you prepay it. There you go. And then you negotiate out of this. Sell the phone if you can. Find a way to get out of it. Because you don't need $115 a month to make phone calls. That's crazy. You don't need it. Guys, don't fall for it. They're selling you consumer products. They're selling you these electronic things made for a few bucks overseas. Probably with metal that came from Australia. Olka asked if she could go on a fortnightly payment plan, but that was rejected. She told her story to different customer service representatives, but she says they all hung up on her. Eventually, Olka tried cancelling the service completely, but was told if she did, she would have to pay out the phone and her debt in full. The provider referred her to the National Debt Helpline, but said her service would soon be cancelled. Unable to pay the debt on top of her rent, she feared she would end up homeless. Then you pay your home before the phone bill. It's that simple. You pay, keep your house over your head. House, food, power. Don't worry about a phone. Get a burner phone for $30. Sell some crap around your house to do it. Dig yourself out of this mess. And don't sign up for this stuff again. $100 a month for a phone is just ludicrous. What can we do to change this mentality here? Because nothing here is mentioned once. It's all painting these people as victims of the evil telephone companies. But really, people need to be able to budget and plan. Again, I bet there's not going to be any mention of saying people should have 6 months of savings set aside. And I know that doesn't happen. When I was in 20s, I didn't have that either. But we need to get it out there. We need to get it discussed and mentioned. It needs to be how can we make it cool, everyone? Am I naive in hoping that? I'm old now, aren't I? I'm 40. I've got, my cool shirt on. How can we make saving and rainy day funds cool? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. The National Debt Helpline referred her to a lawyer from the Consumer Action Law Centre who spoke to her provider and mentioned that she will be getting legal advice. So people left with unaffordable debt. The Consumer Action Law Centre Chief Executive, Gerard Brody, said the pandemic showed how reliant people are on telecommunication services. COVID-19 crisis has confirmed without a doubt that telecommunication services are essential, yet the telco industry continues to fail community expectations of essential service providers and is still not regulated as an essential service, he said. Yes, that's good. It's gotten cheaper. You can get a phone for nothing, for free, for a few bucks, pretty much. You can get monthly phone service without a recurring contract for $15. Unlimited calls. Remember back when we had telecom, guys? How much it cost to make a phone call? This is the problem. Probably these young people don't realize. Making just a long distance call, from the Gold Coast to Brisbane. Remember when you made an STD call and you had the beep beep beeps on your phone? Or when your parents got, you got in trouble for talking too long? They don't remember that. Free unlimited calls anywhere in the country. We don't want it regulated. This is it. The problem isn't the telecommunications companies, or the salesmen suckering people into buying these things. The problem is people don't understand what they're doing and they're not planning. It's education, guys. That's what it is. You don't need the latest Samsung G8 bloody phone to what? Send your texts and watch your YouTubes? You can do it on a piece of crap. Guys, seriously. How do we get the dialogue changing over to that? Where's that put in these articles here? Or is this me, again, blaming the victim? Is that what I'm doing? But I've been young and stupid too, so I know. So, Mr. Brody said, without direct enforceable rules by the independent regulator, people were being left with unaffordable debt, poor or no financial hardship responses, the stress of unprofessional dispute resolution, and disconnections. It is clear that this lack of connectedness just won't do. It denies people access to family, medical care, education, work, and government services. And obviously the names have been changed. So, I see both sides to it. This is the problem. These people can be isolated. Once you hit a certain level of poverty, so people, we go, oh, I'm poor, I'm broke. But, there's a certain level when you get below where you can't even afford a mobile to access things. That's going to make just living day to day even harder when you can't even have access to a savings account, all of these things. But the thing is, you don't need a $100 phone anymore. It's cheaper. It has gotten so insanely cheap. No mention of that. Why these people voluntarily signed up to these things. $80 a month. They thought it was affordable. And it probably is if you've got income coming in. But there's cheaper ways out there. What do you reckon, guys? How do you think we can reframe the dialogue on this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. How much do you spend on your mobile phone? I mean, one point I was paying $100 a month on mine when the business was a lot bigger and I really had the mobile data when I was out and about. But when I made the change, I said, you know what, I'm not. And I cut down to 15. I've managed. Occasionally, I've gotten close to running out of data. The first time it happened was a couple of days ago. But even when you're out and about then, there's so much Wi-Fi everywhere. That's the main thing is data, I'd say. What do you recommend, guys? How are we going to reframe this dialogue to look at empowering consumers and not just calling for more regulation on the market? Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what your solutions will be. And if you watch this on a mobile phone, I know most of you do. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. If you sign up with my AussieBroadband code, we each get $50 credit on our next bill. So thank you very much for the people that are doing that. You're literally helping me get these videos up online. Because by the way, I'm an AussieBroadband shareholder now, so I'm a fan of the company. And finally, you can buy our merch from HeiseSays, the Teespring. Teespring. Down below this video, you can see the mugs that I've made, and right behind me, you see pocket squares that we also make. You can use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or support us via PayPal as well. Have a great day, everyone, and don't rack up those mobile bills. Still, just don't go on a $100 contract for a bloody phone. Buy it outright. Take care. Or get a second-hand one. Even better. Second-hand Gumtree Mobile. Do it that way.